Okay, we should be live. I'm going to try to refresh this and get my stream pulled up so that I can... Is that a set?
No, I made it.
Wow.
And I made 3 of them. And I made it originally as a commission for somebody. And then I ended up selling, or making 3, and I sold 2 of them, but I still have 1.
Nice. How many parts, roughly?
I have absolutely no idea.
That's usually building. I just kind of build, and then I have no idea. Oh.
Yeah. I still kind of want to get some interior stuff going, but I just don't know what to put on the inside because there's not that much space.
I'm going to mute myself. Now where's the chat? There we go. It's one of those things where it's not wanting to work out for me.
Ah, okay. Well, I think we're good in live.
Yeah, we're live. I'm just trying to get my stream chat up. Because we're at the end, like, hey, Bubba. I usually take a couple questions from the chat.
Okay.
I think I got it. All right, so welcome everybody. As you can see, we have here today. Thank you, Chris, for coming on.
Sure.
Means a lot. I have quite a few questions. So if any of you, for some reason, are not subscribed to Chris or myself, links to all of it is in the description. There's Chris's channel, my other channel, my Flickr, and Twitch. So if you have that or followed any of that, go ahead and feel free to do that. Let's go ahead and get into the first question. What got you interested in building and Lego in general? So what got you like wanting to build and just got you into Lego?
Like to start out?
Yeah.
At the very beginning, way back when? Wow. Now, I liked Lego for a long time before I discovered it on YouTube and everything. Oh, man. What got me into it at first? I don't know. I just had friends that had it. They had, like, older siblings and stuff. Definitely Star Wars. I had played a lot of, I guess the Lego Star Wars video games and stuff. Our video game at the time was just the prequels one. And I watched... the prequels quite a bit. So, I mean, that's what really got me into building Star Wars stuff, or really got me, into Star Wars and that whole side of things. But otherwise, I don't know. Lego was just around, so I built with it, and I really enjoyed it.
Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of always been something I'm interested in. I mean, far back as I can really remember, I always was getting... The farthest back I remember is the Clone Wars sets in 2008 and 9. That's when I really started collecting. I started watching some of your Clone Army videos and Day Army videos, and I was always like, I started collecting like 2 or 3 of the Clone Walker battle packs, and I always thought that was so huge and everything, and just kind of grew from there for me. Next we have, what made you get into
Into what again? Sorry?
What made you get interested and what made you want to start YouTube?
Oof. Starting YouTube, well, I think I stumbled upon Lego on YouTube because of just looking at different animations. I had seen, I don't know, there's like a bunch of music video ones like Knights of the Round Table and other random Lego things on YouTube. So I kind of found those, and then eventually I ran across Pizza Movie's 501st stop motions, if you've ever seen those. And then what actually got me like building and into like where I am on YouTube was a little bit I want to say a little bit of David and a little bit of Ross at the time. Like they were both doing this kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
David more or less is just clones. I mean, they were both like under 1,000 subscribers, and yeah. Otherwise, between Pizza Movies and them, and then another guy named Texas Lego Boy and Ross's good buddy Lego Matrix 23. They were kind of my big inspirations for building, and definitely building the way I do, as in like size and everything, because they just they really inspire me to go like beyond. Because I mean, I could always build like little smaller things, but then it was like, well, yeah, but I want to do something that's more realistic and has that whole like size aspect to it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely not the easiest thing to get into building large scale things, because not only does it, and I haven't even really gotten into large scale. I mean, the biggest I've built is 6 gray base plates. So, I mean, minute to compared to what some other people build, but it's just kind of, yeah. Just takes a lot of, mostly just money to like be able. Don't want to build a large build where you're building small detailed things and then you go big scale and then you can't detail it. So that's kind of the hard thing for me and a lot of other people that I've heard from, is just not being able to detail large scale mock. So, I mean, I got into YouTube. I remember the first ever Lego video I watched was a Halo stop motion called Built for Combat.
Yeah.
That was the first ever Lego video I watched. And then what got me into Star Wars would definitely be probably David and you. I mean, I started watching you probably 6 when I started my channel.
Okay.
So, and then next question
awesome.
we have, yeah, favorite YouTuber, and if so, who is it? Doesn't have to be Lego. It's just whoever's your favorite.
To be honest, I don't watch a lot of YouTube. I don't have too much free time to do that. Who do I really like watching? I don't know. I like a few of the, believe it or not, some of the Lego city builders out there. I really enjoy watching, what's their name? Just the good. It's a British kid. It's like Lion Bricks something. I really enjoy him. Not that he's like top of my favorite YouTubers. Like I really enjoy Jane Garrett right now, but I don't have like an all-time favorite YouTuber or anything. But it definitely switches depending on probably what people are building. Otherwise, I like Star Wars Explained a lot. It's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah. I definitely do see where you're coming from in the city aspect to build city. It's just I kind of want to keep my attention until I get really good at building so that I can then branch out more. Like I've talked and other people that I also want to get into like castle themes.
Okay.
And I mean, on my channel, I got one mock-up of Dick, which I always thought was kind of an interesting theme just because it was kind of the colors I like building in, and I kind of enjoy breaking things down and trying to make it look as decayed as possible. So
cool.
That would definitely kind of that stuff. But like I watch Jang Bricks. I don't know if you've ever seen him.
Yes, I've run across Jang Bricks once or twice.
I definitely like watching his city stuff.
Oh yeah, awesome stuff.
Next is, what mock that you have built would you like to go back and redo or change? Like, what would you change in it, or what mock would you want to redo?
That is such an awesome question. I'd have a hard time choosing. Definitely Scarif. Like that's something that I would love the chance to have done lots of things differently on that.
Yeah.
Whether it's not necessarily trusting Rebelug or going with Rebelug to do the finished product.
Yeah.
And just doing it all on my own, and probably not taking it anywhere would have been pretty nice as well. To not build it modular could have been a bit stronger, I definitely think. So if I did it again, that's probably what I'd do. I'd make it so it can't travel, and it would probably be a bit bigger as well. Would sure like to have made that tower quite a bit taller still, but
Did you have any rebuilding to do when you got to Brooklyn, Chicago?
Yes. I drove for 2 days straight to get there. And then when I got there, I think I had, what is it? I might have got there on the Tuesday or something. So you couldn't set up yet. But then starting from Wednesday right until Friday night at like 3 a.m, we were still trying to put that whole Scarif layout together. So that was pretty brutal. And no one was really helping me. So that, I mean, if like quite a few people that weren't at Rebel came out and helped me, and that was amazing. But yeah, definitely could have not used as much assembly time. Like there's a lot of stuff we had to do while we were there, and then like desperately trying to put together islands with the parts that I brought for building islands and stuff, because people didn't end up bringing any. So yeah, that there was lots of assembly those few days before.
That's kind of one of the reasons I'm kind of hesitant on conventions, especially because, as you can tell by my name, CO, I live in Colorado, and so there's absolutely no conventions around here that often. I mean, there's one last year that I didn't even realize happened, and other than that, I haven't known about any conventions in Colorado. I mean, I went to a small one. It was World War Brick. They were were coming back from Anaheim, and they stopped in Denver.
Cool.
And so I was able to go to that. But that's the extent of my convention journey. So, I mean, it was fun, and I definitely want to go to more. It's just kind of not really looking like it'll happen because they're all so far away from here.
Yeah.
So
definitely that must be rough. You're not the first person that I've talked to that's from Colorado that has tried to find a lug or groups that would do events that are there or anything. So yeah, there's a few states that really just don't get anything, and I mean, there might actually be more than you think there is. I know definitely for me, I thought, well, I'm out here in the middle of Canada. There's nothing Lego here, and then every year I find more and more people and more events and things going on. Like it turns out that there's 4 lugs in my province, and there's different shows, and just the neighboring province has a convention that they keep kind of hidden every year. And like I met Zazi Nobbies at a comic expo. So there's actually Lego all around you. It just takes time, and it takes time to figure it out and find out what's going on.
Yep. I mean, I'd love to go to them, but it's just kind of getting there and just spending the entire weekend. It's a big commitment to spend that time, especially if you have to travel. You're not just going to go and spend a day there and then go back if it's a long travel. So it's just not only finding the time to drive there, but finding the time to spend an entire, probably close to a week there.
Yeah, definitely.
And flying is.
I'm just looking at your the Colorado/Wyoming Lego users group. So it's kind of cool. I've never heard of them before. Cowlug, but apparently they do a few displays. But yeah, no conventions or anything, just Comic-Cons.
Yeah. I mean, I'm part of a lug right now. It's a smaller lug. Boba Fett Bricks and I created it. It's called Thrawn Lug.
Thrawn Lug, okay.
It's kind of been bashed a lot by Beta Lug and other people.
Oh, Beta Lug.
Oh yeah, they're definitely a character.
Don't worry, it comes around. I'm sure Rebel Lug says the same thing to people in Beta Lug. So,
I didn't really. It was always Boba Fett Bricks that got into the huge beef with them. I just kind of stayed out of it. I didn't want them to say something about my channel on any of their channels, and then just kind of. So I just kind of stayed out of it. They said Beta Lug saying something. I said, just leave it alone. I'm not coming in. There's just no point. And now
Yeah.
they kind of are taking a hit. I mean, they've lost Brick Apocalypse. Ethan Network, I'm pretty sure, left.
Really?
Yeah, and quite a few have been leaving. So, I mean, they've told people that people in our lug have left because they've told them that we would make a bad name out of them and all this stuff, and so people just left, and so it's been definitely a kind of hard to get our lug going, but still going. We're trying to plan a collaboration right now to start.
Cool.
You kind of answered this a little bit earlier, but what was your biggest inspiration in the Lego community?
Ooh, that's tough. I get inspired by different people at different times. Like, I've like at the start it was probably Brad Roberts, aka Pizza Movies, and then at some point it was David or Ross or Jang, or there's all these different people that inspire me for different things at different times. So I mean, like more recently I've been inspired a bit more to do a city because of like Jang Bricks in his city, and anytime I run across cool stuff like that. But that's the thing, is right now I couldn't tell you a Star Wars builder that I'm super inspired by, except for Jay and Garrett, because they are doing some fantastic stuff right now. They're super inspirational. Yeah.
I think they definitely have probably the best crate mock personally.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They're above and beyond by doing everything minifig scale or very like, I mean, David's, his is amazing, and he does great jobs on all of his mocks, but he just kind of scaled. He didn't go to that level to go minifig scale.
Yeah.
Which I definitely think he could have. It just would have taken a lot more time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. David kind of weirds me out sometimes, because what was really interesting is him on Jay and Garrett's stream. I don't know if you saw that, but that was a really interesting moment, because when you see David in his own videos, he really talks. He sounds like he's really high and mighty about himself as a builder and everything, but then when he joined Jay and Garrett's live stream, it was obvious that these two guys were far superior builders, and he admitted it too in the stream and stuff. So that was really interesting, because I'd never seen David act like that before. So
yeah,
interesting.
I think just in his videos, he just tries to, like, he just kind of pushes everybody else to the side and just kind of focuses on what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And would seem like he doesn't really think about any other builders. I mean, he's definitely, I'm not taking away from him. He is an amazing builder, but I just think that he's starting to get surpassed places of building.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that.
Yeah. All right. I think right about now we're going to take a few questions from the chat.
Okay.
So if anyone has any questions, go ahead. Let's see. What made you just decide to do that? The entire mock series that you did. What was the planet? I forgot.
I did Dantooine and then Cardia.
Cardia.
Yeah.
I forgot. What made you decide to kind of start that up?
That's funny, because ever since I started YouTube, like I really was inspired by the Clone Wars when I actually got to building on YouTube and everything, and that's really what pulled me on to be like a super Star Wars fan and to build the Star Wars stuff. And then I always wanted to tell my own story, so like I always would have loved to go into animation, like stop motion. But I'm not a stop motion animation kind of person. But that's where it was really fun, because I kind of discovered this way where it's like, hey, I can do a series of builds that kind of cover the story of a squad or something, comparable to like the Geonosis or Umbara arc on the Clone Wars, right? Where I can kind of capture this through a few different builds. So I was just, probably mostly inspired by the Clone Wars. But it's funny, because even now, like, I mean, I built Scarif Tower, and I'm working on the Jedi Temple, and it's one thing to build replicas, but I really, really want to get back to building my own thing and really telling my own Star Wars story, because that's what I really like to do, and that's what I like really kind of desire to do on YouTube this whole time, was to like build and tell a story through my build.
Yeah,
So,
which is something that I've always liked about how you build is you don't everybody, as soon as a movie comes out, they immediately build whatever's the biggest thing that they can from that movie. And
yeah.
at first it does good on YouTube, but eventually it's like they've seen it 30, 40 times already. Like, I mean, there's probably at least 30 mocks on YouTube of Crate. Like, they might not all be to the massive scale as some other ones, but there are a lot of them. But I mean, how many people have made car or Dantooine mocks? I mean, they're usually like things you start off with because you don't plan on building that like when you get huge mocks, but it makes it interesting when you're building this massive scale thing, but it's still just out of your own mind.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is they mentioned. So just so you know, Cardia is not actually a real planet in Star
Yeah,
Wars.
I've heard of. Yeah.
So that's my true kind of prank, because I don't know, maybe I read it wrong, or I can't even remember now if I did it on purpose or not. But like, they did mention it's Carida, and then they mentioned that in the Solo movie. So I thought that was pretty cool to see that put into like canon again. But
Yeah, I've definitely made
yeah.
my own fair share of mistakes on Planet. I'm pretty sure, at least. Let's see. Do we have any questions? What's your favorite TV series and what food do you like?
TV series. I'm gonna be pretty retro Chris here, and I'm gonna say the Clone Wars, because it's pretty good.
I definitely agree with you on that one.
Trying to think of any other TV series that I really have enjoyed that much, and there probably isn't anything, except maybe, I don't know, because then it's like, well, there's other TV shows now that are pretty cool, like Game of Thrones is pretty good, or I mean, Rebels even
Never
had
really
its
gotten into
moments
that.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty something else there, but I mean, I don't know.
Have
Yeah.
you ever thought of building other themes besides Star Wars? Like, I know you've talked about city and stuff, but other than that, would you like to get into any other themes as like a major thing, not just like you're doing a collaboration, so you build that
Yeah.
theme?
Definitely, my good favorite themes over here. I really want to do superhero stuff at some point. Um, that would be really awesome to do.
Yeah.
And I think the way that I do it is it would be more like hand in hand with starting a city, right? Because in my city, I'd want to have like the Avengers Tower and
Yeah.
kind of these cool, like I'd want stuff to be going on, right? And that's where superheroes is really great for adding some action to it. But
Hmm.
apart from superheroes, I'm pretty good with superheroes and Star Wars and city, and who knows, maybe I'll make a castle for fun someday. And what I feel like there's something that I'm missing that I actually want to do, but I can't remember. So,
Something
Lord of
I
the
definitely.
Rings. Lord
Oh
of the
yeah.
Rings, definitely. That's why I'd build a castle. I wouldn't build a castle for the fun of building a castle. I'd build it to build like a giant Helm's Deep or something.
Oh yeah. That would be. That's. I want to get into Lord of the Rings and Hobbit builds just because it's a very interesting and unique type of building. Like, you don't really see that type of building in many other things like castles and that type of building. You don't see that in really any other themes.
Yeah,
Um, I
definitely.
I'm definitely starting to get back into building military. My next mock, I'm gonna be building D-Day.
Okay.
I'm at the last mock of my Endor, or the last plate of my Endor mock. Going to probably later today start the recording of the first weekly segment on that. it's gonna be kind of interesting. I've never done weekly segments on anything, so we'll kind of see how that works out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they're interesting. I know for me, just the way that I kind of saw it, because I was running my series building Scare at the same time as David was doing his. Like we started on the exact same night and stuff, totally by coincidence and everything. So I felt really like pushed to do more progress every week and to get like, you know, spend every hour I could actually building. Whereas any other time, if I'm building something, it'll be like, all right, I'll do a little bit here, a little bit there, and then I'll probably sit down at the end and do a big, long thing to complete it. But that was the first time where it was like every night I would come home and sit down and turn on the camera, and then every 10, 15, or 30 seconds, whatever I did the time lapse for, when I would hear the flash go off, it would, or like the click of the camera, I'd want to be building like as fast as possible. So that, and the fact that I was kind of more or less trying to compete with David, made it gave me a lot of incentive to actually like get stuff done and to do a good job. So I think you'll find some of that when you do your series, and it's a lot different than just doing other YouTube videos, because people expect you to get your series out.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm worried about, because as soon as I miss one day, or I miss it by a couple hours, I upload it at night or something, I know I'm gonna get comment after comment just saying, why didn't you upload? Where's the upload? And so that's kind of why I haven't made a schedule for my channel. I just kind of upload whenever I get a mock done. I got a comment that I thought was really funny. They said every 2 months, CO Clone Commander comes out of hiding and uploads a video, and then he goes back into communications blackout.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I've got very similar comments.
Yeah, but it's just kind of, at first I thought I was going to be one of the only ones doing a major like D-Day mock. Like I don't see D-Day that often with how big of a battle it is and how popular it is. Like you hear it talked about all the time. I was expecting there to be a lot of mocks on it, but there's a lot of other battles built more often than that.
Definitely.
And then I realized that someone else was actually doing a series right now on it.
Yeah, X39, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Good old Peyton.
Yeah, so I was like, yes, finally I found something that I want to build and no one else is doing it, because I finally started Endor, and then like CP Game, Ethan Network, and all of these other builders come out with theirs, and I'm like, just go look like I'm copying them.
Yeah.
But then a couple of weeks ago, I found X39s, and I was like, dang it. I finally thought I had something.
Just go for it. I think that's one of the most important things, is not to notice the other people doing it, or at least use them as like a competition, at least just in your mind, where it's like, okay, well, they're doing their weekly series. How can I, get on par with them if they're doing better, or if they're better at uploading on time and stuff. It's kind of competing, and competition is definitely good as long as it's healthy, where it's helping you and helping your channel. So,
does anyone else have any questions for Chris here? Let's see. Not really seeing much. Chat kind of went dead after a couple minutes ago.
Well, Fett's just gonna go and bake a cake, so I guess there's no more questions from him.
Okay then. I'm trying to think if there's any other questions that I'd want to ask. I'm sure that an hour ago I had like a million questions rolling through my mind. Like, okay, what do I want to ask him? This. And now that it's actually here, I don't know at all. Oh yeah. Are you gonna do a weekly series on the Jedi Temple, or is it gonna be a mock you build and then upload the finished product?
Well, despite the amount of time that I've been AFK from YouTube and Instagram and everything, I have not started it, and it's not like one of those things where I'm just going to come back with the finished build, unfortunately. I ran into the fact that my university semester was actually ridiculously hard this
Oh,
year, and yeah, no, I just couldn't build, and especially to start a series, I just couldn't do that and school at the same time. So that was really that was really challenging. So I know I was working on it, I was getting parts, and I was getting ready to film, and I did film some of the first few episodes um, before Christmas, and then at Christmas it was like, all right, let's see what I can get done. And then when I wasn't getting much progress, I kind of realized that, hey, my next semester is going to be even busier, so I'm just going to have to take a complete break from building. So that's where I've been gone for a few months now. But ever since I got off, I've been doing lots of Lego stuff. But then I got an internship, and I'm working 40 hours a week. So I'm actually pretty much, I almost feel busier than like during my semester, even though like it's not exactly hard, like mentally exhausting work that I'm doing. So that's not too bad. But when I come home, it's like, all right, let's build. So eventually soon here, I will get the series out. I've just had a bunch of other things that I want to do, like build these cruisers or finish them and send them out. And I did a few other custom builds. Like I did the
droid.
What's his name? Yeah, I built the droid carrier. I did the army. It actually took a few days to set up, and then I built the walker behind me there. The ATM-6. That's the Michael Kowalski version. So I really wanted to build that.
Is that a minifig scale one, or is it?
It's the same one that the Brick Wiz has in his build.
Okay.
I don't think it's minifig scale. I think it's still a bit too small. Or, you know, David's using it. It's the same. It's the same general model, but. Yeah, but no, yes, I plan for my series to be a weekly building series with the temple, and I'm really excited to get started on it. I've been really excited to do it for a long time, and stuff just keeps on coming up. Like this weekend, I would have been happy to have released it and got it done, but I'm working on I signed up to do a Lego animation as part of my job. I'm creating a Lego superhero trailer for a summer superhero like day camp thing. So I've been doing some animating, which is why I have like some random stuff behind me. So yeah, but yes, I would definitely.
What happened to Benny's spaceship behind you?
Oh, tragedy. I brought it out. I've had it in a bin. Like I built this thing. It was brand new. I never put it on a shelf or anything. I just put it right into a bin, and it's been in perfect condition ever since I opened it. And then I brought it out for Brian's
podcast. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. And apparently he wasn't recording because Sean said something about, will you throw the spaceship? And then I just flat out threw it behind me, and it took the AT-AT with it, and they both exploded brutally all over the ground behind me. So that wasn't super fun. Or at least it's not, because I keep on looking at the parts and I realize it's probably actually going to take me some time to repair it.
I'd say with how much destruction there is, I'd probably just take it all apart and rebuild it from the ground up.
I don't know. I don't think it's that bad, but it is certainly worse than just a few pieces.
Yeah. I just saw the chat rolling. Maybe we've got another question.
Okay.
I usually try to keep these to between 45 minutes and an hour. That's why I'm kind of...
All right.
It's just Boba Fett Brick saying ha ha.
Hope his cake was good.
Yeah, how was that cake? If you did start a Lego city, would you make it a large layout, like that you take a few months or a year or more to build, or would it be just kind of like you build a building here, a building there, and you just kind of take them apart after it's done? After each one are done.
I have much grander plans for a city if I ever, hopefully when I get started on it. The plans I have are pretty cool, but I can't do them in my current space. So it's when I move out of here that I will hopefully, or get a space to do Lego. That's kind of like my goal in the next at the end of the next 2 years, is I really want to get out of here and get a space for all this Lego, because I'm super cramped, especially when I'm trying to build bigger all the time and everything. So my goal for that is when I can finally get out of here and have room for more, I'm going to do a big Lego City layout, and my plans are to hopefully do it as a YouTube series, which would be a lot different for my channel, but it wouldn't be your average city. There'd be lots of stuff and, again, story through it. So it would be, you know, they start out as this, and then you get to follow week by week, and it's growing to a story, and there's stuff going on, and it would, I think it'd be pretty cool. And it's a little bit sci-fi-ish, so I think my viewers could handle it, but it would definitely be a lot of fun and really awesome long-term. Like, that's one thing that's really challenging for me, because everything I do, I always build it and then take it apart, mostly, except for a few exceptions like these walkers and stuff. But the city would mostly stay together, and it would be like like a lifetime project kind of thing. So it would turn into a fairly big layout, I think, but that's just an interesting challenge that I have looking at it, where it's like anytime I use a part, I can't use that for future builds, right? And up till this point, everything's been like growing the collection so I can build bigger and bigger, but then if I use up parts in that, I can't build bigger Star Wars stuff, you know, if I use a bunch of gray brick in a building or something. So,
are you still in the same place that you did the room tour, or like the collection tour?
Yes, I am.
You still have the bathtub full of parts?
That had to get cleaned up. So, if I move my camera here, things are just getting a bit more cramped. More bins all the time. I think in between these tables here, there's a bunch of bins, but I also have the, I'm in the room next door, which I think during the room tour is my like bedroom. So the bed's out of there, and that's where I'm building the temple in. So that's a bit interesting, but I have more room for building because of it. But it's also really weird because I have every single part that I own, except for my giant tubs of like 2x4s are in the other room now, and a few other parts, but like everything is in here. So it's really weird to be building in a different room than all my parts are. So that's something that I'm really gonna have to work with during the temple. So
just trying to make sure everything. Yeah.
And it'll be like, oh, where's this piece? And yeah, it'll be weird because they won't know where it is.
After I build D-Day, I definitely have a lot of work to do on sorting parts. I probably have 4 bins I need to still sort through, and I just want to get that done so I don't order parts that I already have.
Yeah,
because I'm sure I have plenty of post grade 2x4s. I just need to look for them. I have like a 5-gallon bucket full of parts to sort, and that's not going to be really that fun to go through, but it definitely needs to be done soon.
Yeah, I did. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I have a bunch of pick-a-brick cups that I found sets that were so badly destroyed that I just need to completely redo them. And I have probably like 10 pick-a-brick cups full of parts that are just sets that I need.
Really?
Like, yeah, I have the Malevolence and it's kind of. I have a lot of building and sorting to do.
I might. You probably don't know this, but I think after my first year of Brickroll, I went, and I probably only showed this in some vlogs or something, if I even was doing them at the time, but I went and destroyed over 100 sets. I just demolished parts of my collection to sort, because I'm not going to use these sets anymore, and I'm totally out of space. And even my bins of sets where I keep all my built ones, they were totally like stacking up to the roof and stuff. So I was running into all these space issues. So I ended up parting them out, and then I just spent months sorting parts from that. Just thousands and thousands of parts, and the sorting like never ends. And that's where especially after Scarif, bringing that back, it came back in 3 giant bins, and it took me. It was so sad because it was the first time where it was like each bin, I knew that if I spent an entire day, I still wouldn't be able to finish sorting just the one bin. And it was almost sad because it just took so long. It was so much effort, and it kind of made me contemplate, is all the sorting worth it? But then when I go and build something like these walkers, and they're a 4,000 piece model, and I can go and look through the parts list and put together a box and like pull out all the parts except for the few that I'll need to order in a matter of hours is so unbelievably convenient that I think it's all worth it in the end. But
Yeah. At least on like the Scarif Tower, it was majority of it, like quite a bit of it was one type of part.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
it
like
was
that
dark
that was
bluish gray
definitely
brick.
easier. But
Yeah,
when you're doing the whole range of parts, then it's yeah, it's a
which
lot of work.
and nor that I'm sorting right now, it has probably like four parts that is like the major parts, but then
Mm-hmm.
in the bunker and a lot of the other things don't I have like I'm spread out across the entire floor of our basement with like 50 buckets out, and I'm just like, okay, this goes here, this goes here.
Mm-hmm.
It's sorting definitely isn't the most elegant part of. Yes, he
Yeah.
is bad at tube.
Yeah, no, I'm really lucky on one hand because I do keep all of my parts in this one room, so it's not too hard to grab parts. Like, you know, I can reach like 3 stack-ons just from right here, and everything is really near. So like right now, I'm just starting to take apart this Baines truck set because I'm gonna part it out. Um, and I know that I can sort out all. I think it's like near 400 parts, and I can sort this whole thing out in less than half an hour. So
Yeah,
it's not too bad.
and I think it's bad that I like try and find parts for me, and I'm in like a probably 10 foot by 8 foot area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and I mean, I think you might have seen this in the Discord. But I have like our basement countertop is full of just my sets. Um, soon I'm gonna be having a lot more space. I'm gonna want to get shelving for all my sets. I'm gonna get a lot more of like the stack on drawers
Mm-hmm.
because I definitely have found that those are extremely useful for sorting parts. I
Yeah.
keep a lot in there. What would you say
It,
you probably have the most like of one part? What's the most of one part you have?
I've spent a lot of money and a lot of time collecting all my 2x4s, so I have like these giant tubs. They're probably the most, except for I have studs more than anything.
Oh
I
yeah.
got a 15-pound box of blue studs and something pretty similar for I think red, except a trans red. At one point, I got studs and no. Okay, I caught PAB clearance, which is a really weird random thing, and yeah. So I have a few PAB boxes of different colors of studs. I have 2 of trans clear and 1 of red. So yeah, like studs definitely the most. So I have a PAB cup of most color of studs, and if not, I have stack on drawers and stuff for all the rest of the different colors of them.
What would you say you probably like? Would you use light blue or light blue or light or dark blue studs more? Like which one do you like better?
I'm not a big fan of dark blue just because most of my mocks that I've built are mostly like brighter mocks overall. So, you
Yeah.
know, like Scarif is supposed to be this bright, sunny, tropical thing. So I didn't really ever want to use dark blue water in that.
Uh-huh.
But like I could see using it if my mock was darker and I wanted more like contrast in colors. But I don't know if I'd actually use studs at this point. Like I've had trans blue tiles which I caught on PAB like years ago. So I like to use those, but I only have enough to cover, you know, so much area with that. And getting
Yeah.
more is probably super expensive, I would
Oh
guess.
yeah. They're definitely expensive parts. The tiles in general are pretty expensive.
Yes.
Just because you don't find Lego sets that have just an entire area of tiles.
Yeah.
They like the AT-AT, they put like plates on the side and then they put like 5 or 6 tiles.
Yeah.
And it's you can only collect so many.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I probably have bluish gray 2x2 tiles. I probably have close to 1,000 probably.
Wow.
Just by every order. Whenever I've kind of found like a certain type of part. Like I'm looking for 1x2x3 slopes, inverted of that 2x2 tiles. I look for grass, like the grass stems all the time. I just try and get like the base parts that I can use multiple times. Up a lot. So I mean, lately I've been collecting a lot of 1x2 dark tan and olive plates and 1x1s. Just because they're so nice just to be able to detail the ground. It's one of the most simple ways to detail ground, but it's fairly cheap. I mean, I got like I probably got like close to 500 and it was only like dollars, so it wasn't that bad.
Nice. Yeah.
So
I feel pretty bad for you because I mean I've been around for a long time, right? And I've caught lots of things on Pick-a-Brick, which is like the super affordable way of doing things. So yeah, I know like grass stalks and the different, like I've even caught like light gray tiles on Pick-a-Brick multiple times, right? So
okay, the worst feeling I had is the week of my birthday. They had translucent light blue studs on the wall. I went the week after my birthday.
Oh,
and so there was only like they had a bin just full of the leftover parts, and so I was picking through trying to get as many as I could, and I was like, oh, if only I went last weekend, I probably wouldn't have gotten the new TIE Fighter. I probably wouldn't have gotten any of the new battle packs. I probably would have just bought probably a box of the those studs. But
yeah,
how much are boxes in general? Like,
oh man,
depending on part.
I couldn't tell you. The Lego stores don't always sell them as well. It's different all over the place, especially like in the US. I know they don't like to sell them because lots of the time now Pick-a-Brick is like understocked. Like Lego's not sending enough to the stores.
Yeah.
And especially like variety. So I know at my local Lego store, they haven't had a new part in around a year.
Wow.
And like the new parts then were like orange slopes or something, right? So
yeah,
they haven't had stuff. Whereas I know Noah over in Germany there, H2 Brick.
Yeah.
He's over there and he just picked me up some parts, but like, you know, he's finding these most amazing parts and they let him buy a box of profile bricks the other day. So it's like that guy. But I mean, pad boxes used to be 90 Canadian, 75 US, and then they were more than that. Now I think you're looking at 100 or 110 for a box because they kind of want to discourage you because they want you to fill up cups.
Yeah.
It is more affordable to fill up cups if you're doing basic bricks, or I think pretty much anything now it's more affordable. But it's definitely convenient if you are just going there, you want 2x4s, like, I'll just take a box. But
yeah. Like I've seen so many YouTubers, like they've found 1x2, like, you know, the little like rounded 1x2 slopes.
Yeah.
They had green, gray, and white. And then I go to my store, they had orange and white. I was like, why not the two colors I actually really needed? The two colors I really needed were gray and green, and they only had white and orange of that. I was like, how many of those?
Are you talking about 1x2 slopes or like 1x2 like bow slopes where there's no?
Like it's like the little they're like the bow ones. Yeah, they're
the bow slopes.
Yeah.
Oh, they had them in orange? What? That's awesome. Yeah.
I got quite a few white ones because I wanted to start doing some like I want to do a Hoth mock. And they had like I don't know what they're called, but they look like kind of the tooth, like the teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had those in white, so I got some of those because I figured I could put them and make them look like icicles hanging down or something.
Definitely.
So I whenever I see people pick up parts at a Pick-a-Brick store, I'm like, why can't mine have like 1/10 of the good parts that you guys have? And plus, the closest Lego store to me is 2 hours away, so it's definitely not the easiest trip. to take.
My closest one is 2.5 hours, so I totally know how you feel.
Yeah. I can imagine how bad it is for you with how many parts you actually buy, like, on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I've had lots of opportunities. Like when we went to Chicago, we drove to like 3 or 4 Lego stores, and
Uh-huh.
then we could find great stuff, and some had like special convention pick-a-brick, and I've been around for so long that I've been able to catch so many awesome pick-a-brick like stuff that's come on the wall, and what I realize is that's something that I've been wanting to take advantage of a long time is if I see something and I know that I'm probably going to use it in a future mock, then yeah, definitely stock up on it now because pick-a-brick is like the cheapest way to get parts. So
Yeah. Do you ever buy from Alt Bricks or?
from Alt Bricks,
Yeah. Have you heard of them?
like yeah, the leaves and
Yeah.
everything.
Uh-huh.
I have not. I was tempted. I've been tempted to for a long time because leaf pieces are super expensive.
Oh, yeah.
But I ended up back from when I did my Kashyyyk, I ordered a bunch from Germany on Bricklink at the time and paid like 20 cents a piece or something just for green ones and dark green.
Yeah.
And then I probably would have been nice to order from Alt Bricks, but I guess I chose not to. I was tempted because they were just at a BrickCon this year, but I still didn't pick any up. But I've been really lucky because I've been part of a lug and had like a local group, and I had lug bulk the last few years. So I have some great landscaping people in my lug that pick tree leaves for their parts. So I now have tree leaves in a bunch of really fun colors, and I have like a whole box of dark green
Yeah.
leaves, so.
They're definitely expensive parts, but
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen this, but there's this group. They built like a massive castle display at a convention.
Okay.
The place I saw them was on Beyond the Brick.
Mm-hmm.
But they built like I think they said it was like a 40-foot long display of it was this entire castle layout, and they had all these alt bricks things, and my dad ended up seeing it, and he showed it to me, not knowing I had seen it, and that night he ordered a bunch of 2 different sets of the grass, different sets of leaves, and then he showed them to me, and so that was pretty cool because they're definitely parts that are very nice to have, and it's just like you said, they're so expensive. Those and the 3-leaf plants, I don't know exactly how to describe them, but those.
Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about.
Aren't they like 20 cents or something like that?
At least that's if you can get it for 20 cents, that might almost be good. I can't. I'm sure back when I ordered them for my Kashyyyk, and I ordered them from Pick-a-Brick online, and I just spent the big money there to get 100 of like regular green and bright green or something.
Yeah.
Not pretty, not something that I'd necessarily want to do again, but I'd sure like to get them. I don't see people using them much in mocks anymore.
No, it's probably just because they're so expensive. I mean,
Probably.
like I only had enough to go around like a mountain that I built that was one like it was like maybe 10 by 8 studs, like the area for the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And I barely had enough to wrap around it once.
Really?
Yeah, and I just don't want to spend the money on it. I'd rather spend my money somewhere else, to be completely honest.
Are you talking about like the 3-leaf ones or like the bamboo 3-leaf ones where it's like 3 all in one kind of direction?
No, I'm talking about the like 3-leaf.
Oh, okay.
Ones that kind of spread out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those are definitely expensive.
Yeah, the bamboo ones I have quite a few of. They were at the Pick-a-Brick wall. I picked up an entire Pick-a-Brick cup full of them.
Nice.
I never really liked them, but now I'm starting to appreciate them, and now I'm like, why didn't I just, instead of getting all those random parts that I didn't really need, why didn't I just get another Pick-a-Brick cup or 2 of those?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see parts like that, now I know that I'm just gonna get a bunch of them, and I'm not gonna just go with, hey, look, this part looks like I might be able to use this sometime in the distant futures, but probably not. Instead of getting those types of parts, get the parts that I know I'll probably use a lot.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I had quite a few friends that were just building. Like, I know Jack Production Studios and stuff. He used to build a lot more mocks, and he, for the longest time, it's one of those things where when you're at Pick-a-Brick, it's like, okay, what's cool and new? Let's get some of that. I might be able to use it, but it's one of those things he always took 2x4s for granted because they were always there. And then for the longest time, like the last few years, 2x4s have not been like in gray, in the two different gray colors. They haven't been standard on walls everywhere like they kind of used to be. So it was interesting to see all of a sudden this problem where, and I can see it in some of the people that are, you know, following on Instagram and stuff. And it's like, well, how did you get so many 2x4s? Because you can't find those at Pick-a-Brick anymore. And I was like, really? And then, yeah, Justin ran into a bunch of problems where all of a sudden now you have all these useless things, you know, that you can get on Pick-a-Brick and never use. Like, I mean, sand green, when we first found that on Pick-a-Brick, we were all like, wow, this is the best thing ever. Let's get a bunch of cups of it. But it's like, really, you know, when am I going to, like, I haven't used this, right? But if I would have filled this cup with 2x4 bricks, I probably would have used it. So.
Yeah. I got quite a few sand green, a Pick-a-Brick cup and a half of sand green 1x2s, but that's just because I actually use the 1x2s a lot. Like, like an entire tray just dedicated to my 1x2 tile or plates and things like that. Sorry, I'm trying to get my cord out of the way. But I find 1x2 plates to be one of the most useful parts for me personally. Because I can use them for filler underneath something. Like if I don't want to use all these different plates, I could just put a few underneath something to raise it up a stud, raise it up a plate, like a plate width, or things like that, and just detailing. Like I found 1x1 red plates, and I got like a half a cup of those just because, I mean, putting plates on the side for the trees, the big indoor trees, that was a pain in the butt because it's not a few bricks like in between each. I used 2x6 plates and 4x6 plates for it. I was using like not headlight bricks, but like the 1x4s with the studs on the side. I don't know exactly what to call those, but it wasn't. Put it on to the side. You need to have a plate in between as well. 3 bricks and a plate in between everything. And I was like, so how am I going to do this? Because I don't want to use all my other colored plates that I'm probably going to use for filler underneath other things. And so I just ended up getting all those 1x1s, and I kind of put them on the 4 corners, and kind of that ended up working pretty good until I decided to think it was a smart idea to hold the 4-foot tall tree horizontally. Wasn't my idea.
Brutal.
Yeah, that fell and knocked down another 3.5-foot tall tree.
Ouch.
That was definitely the most interesting part about building indoor. Just a lot of rebuilding because I didn't learn my lesson at all with holding extremely tall things horizontally.
Yeah.
It doesn't tend to happen. It doesn't work that well.
No, I can imagine. I kind of know what you mean. I used or I built a Tethmock a long time ago, and I bought a whole like pad box worth of lavender 1x2 plates. And I mean, those have been a filler that I've used for things, but in the end, because I build on such a large scale, if I'm using like 1x2 plates as filler, it's absolutely brutal. So it's like not worth it most of the time. And
then again, you did build an entire mock out of 1x2 plates.
That was a lot of work. To place all those took way too long. And it's so sad because they put like 2x4 lavender plates on pad walls everywhere.
I was just gonna tell you entire cup full of the 2x4 lavender plates because I wanted to build a Tethmock.
Oh boy.
Dang. Yeah, that probably would have been nice.
Yeah. But now it's like I've got the even like the sand green 1x1 bricks, I bought those for whatever. I have no idea what I was going to use them for, but they actually make a decent, like 1x1 filler. If you're doing rock work or something, you need 1x1 filler kind of stuff. So they're not too bad. But then I've got other. It's been nice to do. Have I done something that's completely different? I don't know. Just buying stuff for the temple now. I'm realizing like some of these parts are going to be fantastic for future mocks. Because essentially, or I started buying parts for my city. That's what it was. So I have all these like 1x2x5 bricks in all different colors. Like I have a 500 in like dark blue and a few hundred in magenta, and I have a ton of tan ones for the temple. And it's stuff like that where later on when I'm doing filler, or when I was doing filler for Scare, if I was able to like throw all these parts into the foundation, because it was like, oh, I'm definitely not going to be using these lavender parts. So that's where it's nice to just kind of grow your collection over time, and then you know it's easier to do stuff, whether it's building bigger, because you probably need filler if you're building bigger at some point. And
Definitely.
people don't really appreciate a super flat terrain, right? So you've always got to layer your terrain, and then that's brutal the bigger your mock is, right? So
yeah, it's just like I see you playing Minecraft all the time, so I'm just gonna make a reference. It's like,
what?
Well, I see on Discord, I see constantly Chris is playing Minecraft. So if you're trying to hide that, you definitely should make sure you're in offline mode. You're just like speechless.
Oh man, I'm trying to figure out, because I only connected my Discord to my computer a few weeks ago, and I don't think I've really played since then. But I guess.
But like, it's a lot more difficult to build a non-super flat, like, and it makes it more impressive.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm definitely trying to work on that. I mean, like you're saying about expanding size-wise, I generally like expand my size once a year. Like my biggest mock will expand once a year, because I usually get 2 gray base plates for Christmas every year. I ask for 2 every year. That's kind of the rate I'm trying to grow at until I get to like 20 base plates, and then I'm not going to keep going at that rate, because then it's just going to be too.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of, by the time every year, parts I get in a year, just enough to cover detail another 2 base plates or so.
Yeah.
And so, have you ever like copied someone else's mock? Like you see a mock and then you were like, all right, I'm going to try to build that in my own way. Like not like an actual like battle, but just like something kind of random out of the blue. Like they just build like this random base. Like let's say your Tabrin mock, and then someone sees it and then they kind of copy it, or it just at a different, like in their own way. Have you ever done that? Like it's not a major battle from an actual movie or anything.
I don't think so. The only thing that I've actually like super copied and it wasn't an original idea is this thing. And it's because I was commissioned to build this directly off of somebody else's build. Oh. So that's where its total exterior is like all from somebody's build, and I just had to, you know, copy it and then figure out the structure. I mean, I modified it quite a bit, but otherwise, mock-wise, I don't think I ever really, not based off of anybody's things. Things that I would have loved to have copied are still things that are in my mind and have been like brewing of how I'm going to do it. But anytime I do something that's kind of inspired off of somebody, it's always been changed up a ton. Like Kashyyyk, like I started mine before David, but there had been other people that had done it before us. One guy is named AC Pin. He's like a long time AFOL, but he built one and he did like the rock wall, except he used like burps, you know, the big ugly rock pieces. So I mean, mine was a bit of was quite a bit different from his in the sense where it was like 20 gray base plates and this giant slope rock mountain, and had whatever my mock had. You know, they were quite different. But other than that, and I mean, that's from, you know, trying to like replicate a battle. But yeah, as in terms of custom stuff, I don't think I've ever really copied anyone, because they've always just been like ideas that I've wanted to do, right? Where I haven't been using any reference material except for like I want to do a cool clone base, and then I like come up with a design for it, and that's what I've done for pretty much everything. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't really consider it copying if it's like something that is in a movie or something, because that's not their original idea.
Yeah.
Unless you like build it one to one what they built, of course. But I mean, how often is that going to actually happen?
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
I built a Naboo waterfall. That I think you can see where that came from.
Yeah, I think I remember something about that in the past. It's funny, I've seen multiple people actually, build it in recent years, build it very similar to the exact thing that I did back in whenever, except it's always been a little bit smaller for some. I don't know. I just looked. I posted a throwback of that photo because I found a photo of it on my Instagram, and I just noticed that photo the other day. I was like, man, this is a lot smaller than I remember. Because back then I was like, man, this massive mountain, and I think it
Yeah.
was only like, it wasn't that big of a.
Yeah. Mine definitely wasn't nearly as impressive as the one you built. But it was also probably like all the mountain, and I was like, wow, I'm really getting good at this. And now
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I was really bad at that. Because
Yeah.
I was using 2x4 bricks as my rock work. So it's definitely, I'd say I've come quite a ways since then.
Yeah. Well, that's what standards change for building, right? Like if you go back and look at some of my first mocks, there's some comments and it's like, he's got this many views on this build. And it's like, well, back then people, like the general community sense of building, like the standards weren't as high, people didn't have as many different pieces and stuff. Like the idea of adding more than, like when I started, you could just use base plates. And even when I put just grass on base plates, that was like revolutionary to some people. And it's like, okay. And of course, like my standards have, whether it's like size or actual like building, detail standards and stuff, but mostly with size, like your standards kind of change. Because I mean, those walkers behind me, if like this is the big Lego set, if you're somebody who's not really experienced in mock building, like that's the biggest kind of walker you can get. But then I go off and I build like these just for fun, these other big guys, and then the giant ATM6, and I got the Cave God AT-AT back there, kind of broken still. And like, I mean, my idea of like scale and building is completely blown out of proportion now, where even in my like smallest sketches, because I just a little while ago I started sketching a few more like of my own mocks. It's like, well, if I'm going to do a mock and have a story, let's see what I can sketch up now. And everything is like over, a 6-foot table in size for like the small builds. And it's pretty scary, honestly, as the person who also has to build those mocks. But
that, and also realize have to, after mocks like your Tabrin mock, people are going to be expecting you to stay to that standard and that like skill base.
Well, I want to do something better than Tabrin, right? Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
I want to do the next bigger thing. I don't want to go back and do a smaller clone base. But I mean, if I did, I'd do it for a reason. It would be like, well, I wanted to try some new power functions thing. Yeah, it would be more of a technique thing. But yeah, it would. That's where like I personally want to go bigger, and Tabrin maxed out the amount of space, like space-wise, that I can do, and then Scare, if I went height-wise, I went like through my ceiling, and it's like, so what do I do next? And that's where the Jedi Temple is kind of like the medium between that, where I think it's like 2 9-foot tables or something, but it's this giant box. So it's actually like the area of the temple is enormous. It's got so much, like, I guess, volume to it, right? Where I got to fill up this huge box with rooms and details and a hangar, and like it's going to be ridiculous, but it's going to be a challenge for me to get all the parts.
What scale are you going to be building in?
Minifig.
It is like, is it going to be? It's going to be actual minifig scale.
It's like a Lego set minifig scale. It's the same way like this AT-AT is kind of thing, right? Where it's on the outside, it'll look like the 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 right product. It should look like an accurate replica from the outside, and then the inside will be whatever minifig scale stuff I can fit in there. But like it's still going to be huge. It's going to.
Oh yeah,
I'm
definitely.
debating having like one whole floor of it just being hangar, because that's how many Jedi starfighters there are. So
Something you could think about doing possibly is the little micro figures.
that's possible, but I
Just
don't.
because then you can, I know you, that's not what you
Yeah.
build in, but just because of you are
Yeah.
a great builder, but there still are restrictions to what you build just size wise.
Oh yeah.
Like just like you could probably easily build something larger than anything you've ever built, but you'd probably have to take up a lot more space in your room, enough that you probably wouldn't even be able to walk around.
Yeah, I had some problems with that with Tabrin.
I could kind of tell seeing you sitting on it.
Yeah.
That was.
But yeah, I'm not in a very big space. But yeah, using microfigures would be interesting. But I really like my my minifig scale stuff.
No, yeah, definitely. I've never about building in micro scale or even like the I'm pretty sure there's like a scale a little bit bigger than minifigure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly what they call it, but it's like the Technic figures or something like that.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay.
I've always just kind of decided to stick with minifigures. They're the easiest to pose. And have you ever like thought about Lego changing how their minifigure is done?
Not too much.
I definitely really couldn't see it changing, just because that's kind of like the staple of Lego is their minifigures.
Mm-hmm.
If they change that, then that's kind of Lego being changed.
Yeah.
Well, if there's no, oh, Rick was in here.
Really?
Yeah. Wow,
How's it going?
we missed a lot of. I missed a lot of comments. No, he's not Orem Furtis. He's sadly is not able to go to Brickworld Chicago. He said earlier on.
Yes, unfortunately, I'm really sad because I was really excited to meet a lot of new people there this year. Like there's a lot of people from the community that are going to be there that haven't been there in previous years. I was kind of sad to miss out on meeting lots of them. So that's too bad.
I'm pretty sure Rich Boy J and Garrett are gonna be at your booth.
They are, yeah, and yeah, there's a lot of a lot of awesome people that I would have liked to have met that are displaying with us or in beta lug or
Yeah.
are just gonna go to the convention at some point.
Yep. I mean, if I went to Brickworld Chicago, I'm not sure I'd be able to go just to walk around and look around. Like, if I went to Brickworld Chicago, I think I'd definitely either get at you guys' booth or just get my own booth just to display. Just
Yeah,
because when you're there, you can walk around even when you're displaying. It's not like you have to stay at your area the entire time.
mm-hmm.
Oh, also make everybody to look underneath the table when you guys have your meeting.
That was ridiculous how that happened, but that was pretty good.
There was a mixture of people being scared, there was people shocked, and there was people, what the heck is going on?
Did Ryan put that in a more recent video, or is that all still from like his last year stuff?
I think it's still all from last year's stuff. I just saw it in my recommended videos. I didn't remember watching it, and so I watched it and I saw that, and yeah. And I'm pretty sure it was in a vlog from another Rebelug member. I don't remember who. Let's see. Brick Trooper Studio says, my dream is to build an abandoned version of your Felucia mock.
That would be cool. That'd be really cool to do it, since it's on Felucia stuff, because you could have like all the plants
overgrowing into it.
They like grow over everything, so for it to like grow over the collapsed version of the build, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. The Brickwiz says revisit it. Pretty sure I remember your first mock. That's for you. That was your question.
Sorry, what was the question?
Oh, what was your first mock, and would you ever revisit it?
See, that's the thing is, I was building before I was on YouTube, so technically my first mock, I have no idea because I built Lego stuff for so long, and I had spent years where I like really like castle stuff, and then I really got into like Exoforce and all these like random themes and stuff that came along, like Power Miners and all that before I really hit like my solid Star Wars, and then I just did Star Wars stuff on YouTube. But my first YouTube build was, I think it's titled like my first clone base or something.
Yeah, it was your clone base. There was like you had like a bridge going out with a tram going back to the base, big landing platform, and
I love that thing because you can tell where I was really trying to go for like this full clone base thing where you had like the starfighters in there, and it went out. And then I remember before, when I realized that I was going to post it on YouTube, I went through and I was like, I got to make this YouTube worthy. So I went and added like other stuff to the mock where they like, I customized some of the clones. Like I think I switched out, like I put orange leg and arms on some of the clones so they'd be 212. Then I added like custom rockets to whatever turrets I had, which are from a set or something. But I had like the Home on Mon Calamari Cruiser hangar in there, and the Endor bunker was the front. Yeah, it was good stuff. But you could see what like super limited parts looks like in a mock, right? Because the base walls are like blue, white, and probably red were the three colors that I had. So
it's the American clone base.
Apparently, and that's the prank because I'm Canadian. So.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Let's see, any other questions? Once I finish going through this chat, then I think everything will kind of wrap up. Thanks, Tapper Portugal. He said, "Okay, this is getting boring. Bye, guys." Okay. Boba Fett Bricks, that's just a slap in his face because you already heard that he's not going. He said all revved up for Chicago.
Oh yeah. See, I'm still displaying there this year. I mailed my part for the Rebelug collab already a few days ago. So
did you?
My part will still be there.
Do you ship it to someone in Rebelug, or do you ship it to the convention center?
I shipped it to Danny's place, so it'll probably completely blow up in transit. So they'll have to figure out how to rebuild it.
They'll just be like, they'll just be talking to you. So where does this go?
What I did is they're doing a zoo, right? So I did a monorail that goes around it. So I made this custom monorail track. And in the end, what I ended up shipping was probably mostly like 2x2 tiles and 2x4 bricks. And my part's just, the track itself is most of what I shipped, and it's all just like basic brick, plate, and tile in gray. So
sounds alright.
It's not super advanced, but I did have to like create a custom monorail system thing. So that was fun.
Like, did you actually build like an enclosure for?
No.
You just kind of.
Just a train and a whole lot of custom track. Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, that's kind of what I would be doing if I entered you guys' solo contest. I'd probably just build the giant train going around the mountain.
The giant train.
Yep. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so that's kind of what's during it right now.
Yeah, you probably want to see the movie before you talk about it on the internet.
Well, that was in the trailer.
Yeah. But I mean, I could say something that severely would spoil them all. I mean,
Please
Solo.
no. I think people at this point, I think the Lego Star Wars community would be more mad if you spoil something from Infinity War than Solo. Because I don't think many people were excited for Solo, to be completely.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on it? Do you think it was?
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I wasn't expecting much, but it doesn't stand out like all the other Star Wars movies have, where
Yeah.
it kind of felt like your average like action movie kind of thing. I don't know.
I think that the biggest mistake they've made so far in the new ownership of Star Wars is not sticking with one director.
That's possible.
I think they
But
need to find a director and stick with them because there's just gonna be too much variation, like just roots of the movie. Like it's some directors are gonna make it very funny and comedy filled movie.
mhm.
Some are gonna make it a very serious and monotone kind of just on one path and that's it.
Yeah.
And something I was talking with Rich Boy Jay and Garrett is in The Last Jedi, the entire Canto Bite kind of direction that they took.
Yeah.
I didn't really that much just because I felt like I know it was the point for the sale, but I just kind of feel like taking up 45 minutes of the movie just for them not even to like barely and barely save the day and then the or anything. It just kind of just ended. I just kind of a odd addition to the movie personally.
Yeah. I can see what you mean about the director. I think it probably would have been nice to stick with J.J. Abrams for like the trilogy.
Yeah.
But I think like when you're doing Rogue One or Solo, I think it's fine to go with the different directors. And that's why I don't know, there's nothing in Solo that made me question it like The Last Jedi kind of did, especially with Canto Bite. But
yeah. I mean, the other thing is, I mean, they made one set on the Canto Bite like scenes. Such a large amount of the movie, they only made one set on it.
Yeah.
Which was the little pod that they went there in.
Yeah.
And other than that, I mean, they could have easily made like that police chase scene and then added like one or two of those animal, like the horse riding on.
Yeah. I'm surprised we didn't get one of those. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, or even just the ship that they escaped on.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been. And then they could have added the code breaker, which I mean, instead of just making him an exclusive character.
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting the polybag, but I just was like, is it really something I'm going to need or use?
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up if I find it for like $20 or less somewhere, but
I mean,
hopefully $10.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else in the chat? Arm change it. It's a good design. What are you talking about? All right. Arm Fortis is disappointed.
I can tell, and he also wants to know where Danny lives.
He said it would have been really cool to see you there. This is his first time displaying at Brick Old Chicago.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I wish I could go. I think I'll try and I think it'll be more possible next year, but I don't know. Now that I've been to all these different conventions, like now I've done BrickCon and Brick World twice, and I'm gonna go to Virginia this summer. Like I don't know which ones I want to continue to go back to on a regular basis. Like as fun as it does cost quite a bit to go.
Definitely, yeah.
So I'd like to make it out to BrickCan personally, because that's like the one bigger one, especially being in Canada, that I feel I should go to.
Uh-huh.
But after, like, that's in April or something, so hopefully I can go to that. But since I was going to sign up for Celebration and I didn't because it's during my university finals week, that probably means I'll go back to Virginia or Chicago next year. So
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite convention that you've gone to so far? Like, not a specific year, but just like a convention. What was your favorite one overall?
Oh man, Chicago's probably. I don't know. That's a tough question because I've been to a lot of fun ones. Got to look at my brick badge here. They're all different. They're all definitely different. Like BrickCon was a lot of fun, but there weren't as many like YouTube community people that I knew. But then I got to meet so many AFOL community people.
Mm.
That was very cool. And like people who worked at Lego and stuff. So that was really unique. And I don't know. It's one of those things where if you go back and you have more friends, it becomes more fun. But we'll see, because Chicago is definitely an amazing time. There's no doubt about that. It's fantastic, and I hope that I can go back at some point here. But otherwise, I have very much enjoyed one that I will be making an effort to go back to every year, and it's this one in Canada called Brixpo, and it is just the most, I always say it, the most Canadian Lego convention, because it's at a Canadian history museum in the middle of like nowhere, Canada, and it's just so much fun, and it's fantastic. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say probably the favorite one I've gone to is probably World War Brick.
Yeah.
It's the
Okay.
one I've ever gone to. Yeah, I've definitely would want to go to really any convention, but I'd probably want to go if I did go to had to pick one, I'd probably Chicago, just because that's the not people I know personally, but the most people I like watch and have talked with is there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you know, does X39 go to Chicago?
No, but he's going to be at Virginia.
Where is he? Do you know, like, roughly where he's out of? Is he?
He is in Seattle. I hung out with him at BrickCon there. So
cool. Well, if we don't have any other questions in here, I'll go ahead and let you go do your thing, because I know you stopped the Rebel Lug stream. Let's see. Arm Fortis has 4 comments here. Your first base was still good. I'm pretty sure that's to you, because we were the only talking about yours. To Bryn was fantastic, but that was bad.
No more questions from me.
Cost is the reason I'm not going to more than one. Okay, well, I think that's about it. Actually, I'm gonna ask you one more thing. Do you game at all? Like,
do I game at all?
Like, do you have any things?
Well, since you exposed me for playing Minecraft.
Oh, well, I mean, what? That never happened?
I don't really game. I play Minecraft with a few other Lego people. Every once in a while, we just go and play some like Minecraft CS:GO or something online. But it's more just like a team building thing. We don't do it because we love Minecraft. We do it because it's just fun to all do something together. So we kind of get to all go like work as a team and play some different like mini games on there. But other than that, I play a lot of like retro Star Wars games, and I do that on PC. So
do you play Republic Commando?
I do play Republic Commando.
I want to get that.
The one that I play the most is Empire at War, because that one is just way too much fun.
I really want that one. I'm I'm
The
thinking
trick
about
is
it.
if you buy it on Steam, you can, if you buy the second one, like the DLC, the Forces of Corruption,
Uh-huh.
you can download mods for free on the Steam Workshop, and then the mods are absolutely ridiculous. Like Republic at War is the Clone Wars one, and there's like
I
Thrawn's
saw some.
Revenge, and there's all these amazing things that it takes the game from like I don't know if you ever played the board game Risk, but it's like playing
Yeah.
an advanced game of Risk with way more strategy, and then you actually can command the battles and everything. And if you do some of these mods, it takes it from like a 50 planet as like the biggest map to you can do like this full galaxy, like 150 planet thing. And then you've got, you know, and you feel like you're actually in Star Wars, you know, in command of like the rebellion or the Empire or pirates or something. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like it would be a lot of fun. I was trying to get Danny to give up his Xbox gamer tag on stream the other day, but it didn't happen. They were talking about bringing his Xbox Brick World Chicago.
Yeah.
For the first couple of days, they were gonna do like I think a Super Mario or something.
Yeah,
Tournament.
I think they're doing a Smash Bros.
Yeah, tournament there. To give up his gamer tag, but it wouldn't happen. When I'm done here, I'll probably go finish sorting Endor, and then I'll probably get on the Xbox for the rest of the day.
Okay.
So I might record a little bit of the first planning video of the D-Day mock, just because I've been really looking forward to building that.
Okay, well, I'll have to stay tuned to see how the series goes.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we'll see how it comes out. But we'll go ahead quickly though. What is your question? He said he has a question. This is very logical. 3 people are watching, 8 likes and 1 dislike. Jeez. I may or may not be putting everybody, whoever I'm interviewing, in the clickbait reasons.
Okay.
I'm expecting 1,000 views. Let's see. But where are you gonna? Are you still here? If you got 10 seconds. Okay, Boba. Sorry. You're
too late.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Chris, for coming on.
Yeah,
really
for sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, especially, I mean, people, aka Fox Bricks, kind of exposed me a couple months ago to you that you may or may not be my favorite YouTuber. He was he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in a chat with him right now." I told him. I was like, "Oh, well, gee, thanks. Now it looks like I'm just a fanboy."
Fox Bricks?
Yeah.
Oh.
He said that.
Dirty Will.
I mean, and that was right after I helped him out and made an entire video on my gaming channel for him for his crate mock.
What a guy.
Yeah. Well, everybody, hopefully you enjoyed this. Thank you, Chris, once again for coming on. It was a lot of fun. Everybody, make sure to stay tuned. In a couple weeks, I'll have Rich Boy J and Garrett on here, hopefully. If not, then I should have Danny or Olav on. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure to subscribe and everything else. Thank you guys. Goodbye.
See ya.
See ya. Thank you.
All right, yeah.